Dodge is returning to NASCAR in 2026 and possibly has bigger plans for 2027. Kyle Busch still really good at driving a truck, and Austin Hill in Atlanta is just inevitable. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. Before we get into what we want to talk about today, let's talk about Atlanta surface real quick because it doesn't warrant its own segment, but it's something people have definitely been talking about this weekend. Remember when they repaved this track in 2021 and we raced on it for the first time in 2022 with this new super speedway setup, and it was like that dark black, that fresh repave, had a ton of grip, looked great, smooth. Yeah, that's gone. It is not dark black anymore. It is gray. It has sat underneath that hot Georgia sun all summer for the last couple of years and just gotten absolutely baked. And it's not back to the old Atlanta in terms of abrasiveness, but it is certainly getting to that point. As you can see, the old picture of Atlanta right here, that's just tar and gravel on like a backcountry road somewhere. What we have now isn't necessarily that yet, but it's starting to get coarse. It's starting to get more abrasive. It is going to start eating tires in the future. I'm interested to see what they do here. Do we repave every 5 to 7 years? Do we seal it? Do we let it go? And if we do let it go, things are going to get kind of weird here with the super speedway package, and now handling is going to matter so much, and it's going to eat tires and things like that. Yeah, that's going to be bizarre, but I'm here for it. I'm here to see what happens. Anyways, let's get into what we want to talk about today because it felt like we were just going to talk about racing, but now on Saturday night, Jordan Bianchi talked about what we talked about last week, and that is Dodge returning to NASCAR in 2026. Siri, go ahead and play Mace Welcome Back because welcome back to NASCAR, Dodge. We missed you. It's been a while. It's been a little bit over a decade, but it's good to have you back now. Finally, they can come flying into Daytona next year in the Truck Series like they're Randy Quaid going back to the spaceship in Independence Days. I'm back, that type of thing. Yeah, that's them. They're here again. Now, I know people are going to have a ton of questions. Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic talked about this. We talked about it last week on Sunday, catch fence at the Daytona 500, mentioned it. I went and had some conversations in the garage area and heard the same thing from multiple people that Dodge is coming back, that conversations have progressed far down the road. Meetings have been held, everything about that. So Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic on Saturday night said that Dodge is expected to return to the Truck Series in 2026. They are eyeing a possible return to the NASCAR Cup Series in 2027. It's a lot of information. It's big, right? That's monumental. It's something that NASCAR has worked tirelessly for the better part of the last 12 years at this point. Since Dodge left, they've been trying to find a fourth OEM. They found it, just the same person that left before. Regardless, it's not a bad thing. A new OEM coming in is great. New, old, whatever you want to refer to it as. It means more competitive race teams. It means more money being spent in the sport. It means more advertisement. That's good for everybody. That's good for the business. That's good for the other OEMs. And it's going to, rising tide lifts all ships, as they say. That's what's happening here. Now, I have sat on here multiple times and said, hey, Dodge is never coming back. If Dodge wanted to be here, they would be here. And now I look like a fool. But I was operating underneath the old Stellantis regime. This new Stellantis regime is all about power again. They're like, screw eco. We're going back to V8s. I actually haven't said that yet, but there's a general consensus that's coming out of this that they want power back again. They're good at that. They're good at making high horsepower vehicles. So a return to the Truck Series in 2026 makes a lot of sense. They have until March 14th to get their renderings in. I've been told that is not going to be an issue whatsoever. I'm not sure if they've been stamped already, but it's going to happen. So why the Truck Series first? The Truck Series, basically from an OEM standpoint, they have to just design the body. Everything else is taken care of. Body's going to get hung on a chassis. Engine-wise, they don't have to start an engine program. Everybody in the Truck Series uses the same Ilmor engine. So for Dodge, it's really about just building a body. Now, I have heard that there might be some body changes as well coming to the Truck Series. I'll have to wait for that. Need a little bit more information on it. But I think you're going to see some changes possibly there as well. So Dodge coming back to the Truck Series makes sense. Ram is one of the most popular pickup truck brands in the country. This gives them a great marketing platform for that. They can compete against Ford. They can compete against Toyota. They can compete against Chevrolet, something they desperately want to do. The big three's back. Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet. Once again, going at it. Then you have Toyota out here as well. It's not a bad thing. Now, I know people are going to speculate on who the teams are. I have a decent not idea, but a general feeling of where this could possibly be going. Outside of their truck program, I have heard about something else that they're possibly doing in 2026. That's not Xfinity or Cup related, but on the Cup side of things, let's talk about that real quick. Starting up a Cup program is difficult. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. Obviously, it's a lot easier than it used to be. The Gen 7 Cup car is basically just like Legos. You put them together, you just build it and, connect the bolts and you're good to go here. They're going to have to obviously design a body, get that approved, go through all the process with that. And then they're going to have to, build up an engine program again. Dodge has had an engine program before. This isn't going to be, something they've never done, but it's certainly going to be something they're going to have to build. And you have to get the horsepower, you have to get the reliability. Things have changed since the last time they were here. Now, they basically have about 2 years to get that done if they want to join in 2027. 2028 maybe makes more sense, but hey, I like a timeline. I like a challenge. If they want to go in 2027, then hey, let's go for it at that, because I don't think it's a bad thing. Again, people are going to wildly speculate about teams in the Cup Series. Not ready to do that yet. Gonna need more details on it. But I think everybody has a general idea on teams that could potentially be poached if a team is going to be poached. New OEM coming in, there's charters sitting there waiting for these OEMs to come in. So all I'm saying is there's possibly 4 charters there, which is interesting because we're only allowing 3 charters per team now, but we'll figure that out when that has to happen. So for now, Dodge returning to NASCAR very much seems like it is all go. Full bore ahead. We'll see how that plays out. Truck Series in 26, possibly Cup in 2027. And it's not a bad thing. Having a 4th OEM come in is really great. Everybody thought it was going to be Honda. I thought it was going to be Honda. Even last week, I was having conversations with people about it being Honda. And the fact that Honda is, hasn't submitted yet is slightly surprising. We'll see how it plays out, but it did seem like a lot of people were like, I can't believe Honda hasn't done this yet as well. So we got a 4th OEM. We could possibly get a 5th OEM as well. Kyle Busch on Saturday in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in Atlanta put on an absolute clinic. It was surgical. The guy should absolutely be teaching a class on this because it was one of the best performances that we've ever seen. Kyle Busch is really, really good in truck. That's not a surprise to anybody. Stop me if you've heard this before. Kyle Busch won a truck race. Yeah, you don't have, we know, Matt. We know that he wins truck races. But the way that he did it was phenomenal. It was honestly, it was an art. We watched art play out in real life on FS1, and he was setting people up. He would get past, and he was setting people up into the corner better than anybody else. Nobody else could do what he was doing, and he had figured it out so well. And even on the last lap of the race, he passes Stuart Friesen and then drag races him to the line, beats him by half a truck, wins the race, and it's like, yeah, this is why Kyle Busch is so good. Kyle Busch, remember the old viral video? I think I got my swagger back, that one.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
Kyle Busch got it. Like, he came out and put on like I said, an absolute clinic. To quote Pusha T, this man is sick because the moves he was putting on were, in fact, sick. Like, I'm astonished that nobody else could do it, but then it's like, yeah, of course they couldn't do it. It's Kyle Busch. It's Kyle fucking Busch. KFB put on an absolute show, and it was fun to watch. I know people are going to be like, I'm tired of Kyle Busch winning in the truck series. Listen, I get it. He's only doing 5 races, but if he's going to put on a show like that, I'm fine with it. Led 80 laps on Saturday. Once he got out in front, yeah, it was kind of over. The old Scott Bloomquist. They could have put me at the back. I still would have lapped the field. Listen, if you could run away in these trucks, Kyle Busch would have lapped the field. In a sense, probably not. It's a, just general statement. I didn't need to explain that. You guys are fine. Potentially the dumbest moment of the year so far that we've seen is they red flagged the race because the track crew decided to put enough Speedy Dry down around the racetrack. It could have sucked up all the oil from the Exxon Valdez. So they went out and they tried to blow all the Speedy Dry off. Of course, like, you need to do that. We got to clean the racetrack. Where they parked all the trucks on the backstretch. Trucks don't run a right side window in Atlanta. And you know what's going to happen here. They blow all the kitty litter, all the Speedy Dry, and it goes right into all the race trucks. So now everybody's sitting in there covered in Speedy Dry, which is really unfortunate. It's sand. It's everywhere. It's coarse. It gets in you. It's the Anakin Skywalker quote. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I honestly don't know the whole thing. My apologies. Either way, Kyle Busch is like, I've never owned a cat, and this is why. Like, you're just covered in it now. And I know every interior guy was watching the race going, oh my God, I'm going to have to get the shop vac out. I'm going to be sucking up Speedy Dry for the next week in every crevice inside of this cockpit here. Yeah, definitely should have rolled the trucks before they went out there and did that. It looked dumb. It was like a Bahraini sandstorm on the backstretch for Formula One testing. We got to be smarter than that. I know race control is probably like, yep, that was dumb. So hopefully it doesn't happen again, but shouldn't happen the first time either. Just a bad look overall. But hey, fun truck race. The trucks race really well in Atlanta. The Xfinity Series, on the other hand, we'll switch over to that right now. Austin Hill in Atlanta. He's inevitable. You can't stop him. He's the Dale Earnhardt Sr. of the NASCAR Xfinity Series at this point. 3 in a row in Atlanta. Somebody call up Pat Riley, get the trademark. It's a three-peat because this dude just will not stop winning in Atlanta. He's won all the stages this year. He went 2 for 2 in Daytona, 2 for 2 in Atlanta. Probably would have won Daytona last year as well. RCR cars on drafting tracks are just unstoppable. The DEI of the 2000s, there's nobody out there that's even coming close. And hey, Austin Hill drove an incredible race. He had like 140 something laps of like 163 or whatever it was. It was insane. He only didn't lead like 20 laps. Now, at the end of this race, he almost didn't win. Justin Allgaier cleared him on the bottom. And for whatever reason, I'm sure Allgaier's going to watch this race back and be like, why didn't I move up? Doesn't move up to get in front of Austin Hill. Instead, lets Austin Hill drive back around him. That was just a bad move overall there. Maybe he wanted to save his teammate, but it ultimately did not end up working out for Allgaier. He and Allgaier and Almirola made contact coming to the start-finish line, but that's more because Allgaier just can't go below the double white line, and Almirola was kind of pushing him down there. It just didn't work out. But neither of them wrecked. They still came home second and third. But Austin Hill wins again. Almirola almost turned him at the end of the race there, but he didn't. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're just like, man, I thought it was going to be somebody different. We want somebody different. I will say the person from Bennett that gave the command. Last week, NASCAR says that Anthony Mackie can't say Avengers Assemble, gentlemen, start your engines before the Daytona 500, which I get. It's the Daytona 500. Like, just say, gentlemen, start your engines. This week, this woman, she sat up there and read a college dissertation before she gave the command. I've never heard a command that long. At one point, I was looking at my phone. I was listening to the broadcast because I don't care about pre-race at all. I don't care about the opening ceremonies. And she just kept rambling. I just said, good Lord, lady, let's wrap it up here. This isn't a sermon. We're not in church right now. We're trying to get this damn race started. And this lady's just up here talking about everything. I think she was from Bennett. All right, let's get on with it here. I get it. You got your moment in the sun here, but goodness, we don't need that long of an introduction just to say, drivers, start your engines. That's 4 words. We got 4,000. It was too many. It was way too many words there. So either way, fun race. The Xfinity race in Atlanta isn't as good as the truck race or the Cup race typically is. They all kind of run around the top. It's really hard to pass for the most part. I kind of wish NASCAR would take a look at that package, like either go full super speedway package or like let us, just go full intermediate package. I'm not really sure what the answer there is, but there's got to be a better solution than kind of what we have where everybody's just riding around looking like a super speedway race from a few years ago. But I also will say at the end of the Xfinity race, there was a pretty hard crash there on the last lap. Christian Eckes got into the wall pretty hard. Some other cars wrecked trying to get back through that wrecked area of race cars, and NASCAR let the finish go green to the checker flag. Again, I think it was one of those instances where if they throw the caution, I would have been fine with it because the race basically already decided like nobody was going to get around Austin Hill. I do think Eckes and others took some hard hits there. This is kind of their new precedent that they've set at super speedways, and it's going to be a judgment call every time, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them racing back to the line. If it looks like the leader is not going to get past, I'm cool with them throwing the caution. The problem here is I know what's going to happen is at a track, like a Dover or a Bristol or something like that, a shorter track, NASCAR is going to throw the caution on the last lap if a wreck happens just because of how quickly the cars are going to get back to that crash scene and people are going to flip out about it. And I hate that for race control because I think a lot of us understand that, but there is a big sect of the fan base that's not going to understand that. And it is frustrating just knowing that there's a storm brewing. It's going to happen at some point. It's like watching a hurricane off the coast and you're like, eventually you're going to make landfall here because we're not going to get this lucky to avoid it. And that's what's going to happen. We know that there's this storm brewing out there of controversy, not really controversy, but it will be made into controversy. It hasn't made landfall yet. And we're all just like, sit around here and twiddle our thumbs like we're in Little Rascals until it gets here. And then it'll eventually get here and we'll all be like, damn it, now we have to deal with this. So either way, I could have gone either way with it. Would have been fine if they threw the caution. I'm fine if they don't throw the caution there. But yeah, it kind of looked like there may have been a hard hit or two at the end of that race. So let me know in the comments what you think about Dodge coming back, Kyle Busch still being good at driving a truck, Austin Hill being unbeatable in Atlanta at this point. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at Brake Hard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Brake Hard.